It's your girl Sharita, the Behavior and Literacy Strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and literacy challenges. I got a good one for y'all today. Let me tell you, it's a really good topic about our children and studying. I'm going to be talking to you about how to teach your child. Teach your child how to study, okay? Today was a really long day. Just finished work and finished my classes. Me and the girls are outside in the garden, doing some work out there, watering the plants and picking the vegetables. So it was nice. It was a nice little time. But I'm a mess, okay, right now. And I'm about to end the day, but I want to talk to y'all first about how to teach your child to study. It's so important, okay? It's so important. Now, this is important to me because a lot of kids, and I know from when I was a special education teacher working with kids, with my students, they get nervous when it's time for them to take a test. And so now they get so nervous when it's time for them to take a test, and they have trouble with taking tests, that we end up helping them. We put supports in place. They get modifications, more time to take the test, or assistance, questions read to them. And if you follow me, you know that I'm totally against that. I'm totally against our kids getting more and more help and modifications. What I'd rather is for our kids to learn how to do it themselves and get stronger and stronger and stronger and become excellent at taking tests. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about how to develop those study habits for your child, and a couple of the tricks that I have up my sleeve, okay? So that your child starts studying on their own without you even being there. This is just what I do, okay? And it's never too early to start teaching this, and it's never too late to start teaching this. And I'm reminded of my student last year who started getting hundreds in all his tests. During the summer, we all talked to be focused on that. We the 100 crew. We love hundreds. That's all we do. We get hundreds, right? We just talk about it all the time. We talked about what does it take to get 100, how to get an A. An A is nothing but the same answer over and over and over again. How do we do that? So the students went into the school year prepared to go after those hundreds, okay? And he started doing really well. He was really excited. He said, "Miss Sharita, I did just what you told me to do. I practiced myself, and then and I put it up on the wall, and I practiced every day, and then I asked my friends to practice and test me, and then I practiced myself again." And he said, "Miss Sharita, I had a feeling that night that when I went to school the next day, I was going to get 100 on that test. I just knew it," right? That's the kind of confidence that we want to instill in our babies, let me tell you, okay? So, without further ado, let's get into it, okay? All right, so first thing you want to do is put your structure in place. Now, you don't want to be chasing your child around trying to get them to sit down and study, okay? So we want to have the time, location, and you want them to be prepared for success, okay? Doesn't have to be the same time every day. You know, our schedules may change. It could be like in 10 minutes it's going to be study time. You're going to have your study time in 10 minutes. Whatever fits for you. If you're supporting your child through this, or if somebody else is supporting them, or if you set the system up in place, you teach your kids how to do it and they do it, that's even better, okay? Right? So you put the structure in place. Tell them what time to get started. The location, it can't be on a couch, in the bed, hanging out. You know, during the pandemic, virtual learning, kids was in their bed with the cameras off and all this other stuff. No, we're not having that. They have to be sitting at a table or a desk. You want to replicate the kind of environment or structure that they have in the classroom. Okay? So they need to be sitting at a table or a desk. Be prepared for success. That's one of the things that my students need to do to earn their points. That means they have to be prepared. That means they gather their own materials. That means they get their own notebook, their own pencils, everything they need to do, or pens, everything they need, and be ready. When it's time to start, I got my stuff. None of that, oh, I need a pencil. Oh, I need a sharpener. Oh, I left my notebook upstairs. Oh, it's the other notebook. None of that mess, okay? That's what be prepared. That's why I have that. so that it eliminates all distractions, okay? You want a point of focus. You want your child to know what you expect to see. What does studying look like? So for my students, for example, when I tell them to write, if they're doing some writing, if they're writing an essay for me, or if they're doing a writing prompt, then I'm saying, when I look up, this is what I want to see. I want to see eyes on your paper. I want to see pencils moving. No talking, okay? This is what I want to see. I don't want you looking around. I don't want you stretching and playing with your hair and all this other stuff, because I want them to look like they getting it in, okay? So that's their point of focus. Give your child something to be thinking about, and give your child an expectation, but something that they're going to be focusing on doing during the time, okay? So we got the structure in place, time, location, be prepared for success, point of focus. Now let's get into it. Start small. Pick one thing for your child to study. It might be a list of spelling words that your child is going to study every day, and by the end of the week, you want them to have mastered it. We love mastery. Mastery means you got it. It's fluid. You know what I mean? They don't have to. They're not getting it wrong. They're getting everything right. You know, they're confident. It's fast. They don't have to do a lot of thinking. Right? That's mastery. So pick one thing. Could be spelling words. It could be a paragraph you're working on conquering. Your child's working on conquering. Right? It could be some vocabulary. Words with the definitions and accompanying sentences, or it could be multiplication fast. It could be whatever you want, but pick something small. Pick one thing. Don't try to get your child to study a whole bunch of things at one time. One thing done to mastery, and then pick another thing and do the same thing will change your child's study habits. Now they're starting to develop study habits that will work at home and then the classroom. And that's how we do it here at the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, don't we? That's what I'm talking about, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. So, pick one thing, and the next thing is they have to do it themselves. For the very first interaction, resist this temptation, y'all. Resist this temptation. Don't put a little chapstick on real quick. Resist this temptation, y'all. Don't sit down with your child and say, we are going to study. Or sit down with your child and sit with them and point while they are reading. Or anything like that. Don't do that. If we want our children to function independently, we need them to do it themselves first. Okay? And this is how they learn to function independently. This is also how we learn what they know and what they don't know. Okay? If your child is not in the habit of doing the work themselves and they always act up to get out of it, and then somebody always runs to help them, then it's really hard to find out what they know and what they don't know. But if they get into the habit of doing it themselves, even if they mess up and make mistakes, and they do it themselves over and over, you start to learn what your child's strengths are and where the holes are in their literacy foundation, in their math foundation, and what their challenge levels are, what they need to be coached in. So make sure they do it themselves first. Do it themselves mean you leave the room. You tell them to sit down with these spelling rules and practice them and walk away. Okay? And then come back. Okay? So have them do it themselves, and then the next step is present it to you. They're going to present it to you. So when you come back, you're ready for them to practice the spelling or to spell the words. So they give you the list, and then they spell the words, and you see how many they got right. Okay? So that's what I mean, present to you. So after you've studied, this is where you are. Okay? Next, you want to challenge them. This is coaching and challenge put together. You want to you want to do something to where your child has to think. You take off the training wheels, and they are forced to think and figure it out. And I love watching my students and my own kids do this. So the way that I do this in my tutoring coaching program, I tell my students to stand up and turn around. There are two reasons for this. One is, if they sit at their desk, it's virtual, it's difficult to see if they cheating and sneaking and peeking, all right? So we don't want no cheating, peeking, pumpkin eaters up in here. So I have them get up and get away from the table and turn around. The other reason is, when they turn around, if they're sitting and they're facing me, they're so focused on me instead of focused on the words that they're trying to spell. And they are trying to get help. And they are trying to see, you know, if I will help them or if I will give up and just give them the answer, or if I, you know how kids do. So they're not 100% focused on spelling the word. So when I tell them to get up and turn around, then they are 100% focused. They go within themselves to focus and figure it out. And it's beautiful to see them doing that. If it's math, you see them counting. And it's between them, and they rock it from side to side and everything, and they like counting, and they're trying to figure it out. And then they say the answer, and if it's not right, they go back, and they're thinking about it. They might be looking up. They might be like, oh, or yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go, right? To themselves, because they can't see me. And they can't see the other students either. Okay? So make them stand up and turn around. Face away from you and face away from the answers. Okay? So that they are hanging with themselves and figuring it out. Okay? So the last thing is, so we got to put your structure in place, time, location, make sure they are being prepared for success, make sure they have a point of focus. What does mom need to see? What does mom expect me to be doing while I'm studying? So that you can show them what studying looks like. Decide what you want to see. Start small, pick one thing. Have them do it themselves first. Then have them present it to you. Then challenge them, okay? And I'm going to give you a tip on the challenge, a game that I made up recently. And use the wall. The last one is use the wall for review. Okay? So, whenever your child does something or studies something, might be spelling words, it might be math problems, they just had a difficult time and they finally figured it out, in the notebook is out of sight, out of mind. Put it up on the wall. Have your child create a word wall, a success wall in your house. Hang it up so that they see it all the time. It makes learning continuous because it's always on their mind. Okay? So those are my tips for studying. Teach your child how to study. Okay? Oh, and I have one more. When I say use the wall for review. So, say you study with your child, you go through this process on Monday. Tuesday, before they even come to you to do it, have them read the wall. The wall is the review. They always review what they did the previous day. Okay? Before they start again. Because they get their brain in gear. Okay? So, say you are working with your child on reading a paragraph. And you go through it and you got through the first 2 sentences, right? If your child's a big struggling reader, and we got some more left, maybe the 3 sentences you're able to do, and it's like 5 words in those sentences your child had to practice or get through. They need to review the next day before they go on to the next paragraph. When children struggle through reading, and then the next day he was like, "Cool, I'm glad I got past that. Let me start reading again. Let's continue." There's no continue because you haven't mastered the first one. So they need to review every single time what they already figured out the day before, what they conquered the day before. They need to review it so that they get strong at it and it becomes effortless. Man, I love to see kids going through this. They get that confidence because when they first start, it's tough for them. They struggle a bit, right? But then after they get through it and everything, when they come the next day and they practice again, it's easier. Then the next day they come, they're ready for it. They're ready for it because now it's easier, already know it. So your child must review every day, okay? And use the wall, okay? So now let me tell you about this quick spelling game. I have a lot of spelling games that I do with my students, and they love them, okay? But I give the kids some words, some very tough words to spell they never spelled before, okay? And I have them practice. You know, I taught them the spelling strategies and everything. We've been working on it for a while, so they know the strategies of how to spell the words, how to decode words, how to spell words, how to pay attention to the words, the sounds and everything. And they've gotten strong in this. So now I'm just throwing words at them. And I always say you never know what words gonna come out of Miss Sharita's head, because I got a lot of words in my head that they never heard of before. So I throw some words at them, and the same thing, they got time to study them. So they sit down and they study them, and then when you stand, I want you to stand up and turn around. You have 3 tries to get this word spelled right. It's fresh. I just gave it to them. Okay, 3 tries. When they get it wrong the first time, if they get it wrong the first time, right? They be like, oh, I'm like, you got 2 more tries, 2 more tries, right? And then they try again, and then if they get it wrong again, you got 1 more. You'll be amazed when the kids have that kind of structure put around it, and the pressure and the excitement, but they really want to get it. How they concentrate so they can get this word. So the first round is 3 tries, right? And then the second round, if they really struggle, but they got, they did okay, they get to study them again. We'll see. Like, say I gave them, let's say I gave them 10 words. And the first time they was able to spell 6 words after 3 tries of doing it. 6 words out of the 10. Then the next time, they're able to spell 8 words out of the 10. See how that works? And then the next time they conquer it, but I'm always coaching my students at their challenge level. So now you're able to spell all the words, 10 out of 10. Now it's time for you to spell all the words with only 2 tries, right? And then 1. So the students have been loving this. They really started going after it and improving their spelling. All my levels, all my age groups, right? With this new game. So always challenge your kids. Get them to think themselves. Don't help them all the time. Don't think they can't learn, or they have a learning disability so they can't. So this is hard for them, so they need help. Let's stop thinking like that. Let's challenge them. Let's equip them and raise their expectations and challenge them and get them excited about learning and studying again. Let me tell you, when we equip them like this and they get used to it, then when it's time for them to take a test, that part of their brain is just going to get activated. And they're going to do an excellent job, okay? So let's stay on our kids. Let's keep high expectations for them. Teach them how to study. Expect them to study. And watch their grades, their test grades go up, all right? Thank y'all so much for watching. Please click like and hit the subscribe button so that you can get more of my videos and get the notification. Hit the notification bell so that when another video comes, when I upload another video, you'll be notified, okay? So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. For more information on how to improve your child's behavior and literacy straight from home, moms, go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com. That's GROWTH Institute.mykajabi.com. Believe in yourself, believe in your child, honey, and always remember that growth is unlimited. Peace.